With the official release just 2 days away, I'm going to break down the entire V-Rising story in just 6 minutes so that you can get back to watching your favorite streamer play it or even playing it yourself. The tale starts long ago in the world of Ardoran, which, for those of you who don't know, is the world of V-Rising. Humanity stood proud without fear. Little did they know that in the shadows lurked vampires, secretly ruling throughout a series of ploys and manipulations. Don't misunderstand, though vampires ruled, they were not buddy-buddy with each other. Separated by clans, they each often played games against each other at the expense of human lives, yet never their own. Different families rose to power and fell all the same, no different than your favorite song of the week. But then a vampire with kingly aspirations came along. Dracula. He set himself apart from the others with his ability to wield new magic from the Shadow Realm. With the heart of the cards on his side, he declared himself the immortal king. True to his declaration, he used his cunning and malevolence in equal portion to claim his throne. Ruling from the shadows was not enough for Dracula. He wanted total submission from all beings, vampire and humans alike. His oppressive reign was met with retaliation, starting a civil war among vampires. Dracula, using the unwavering loyalty of his forces, created the Legion of Noctum, an army with the sole purpose of spreading his rule. Many tried to resist, however, no one was able to match the army nor Dracula himself. Dracula was ready to fight, and not just the other vampire clans. He declared war against any who would raise a hand against him. A blood-soaked path followed him and his army. No one was a match. He pushed humans close to the point of extinction. But humans are known for their resourcefulness, and they discovered and developed many techniques to combat vampires, including garlic and silver, and even trying biological weapons against them to result in what we know as Gloomrot, which is up in the north. The leader of what turned into Gloomrot is Henry Blackbrew. With nothing for the humans left to turn to, he was the last hope of humanity. Even though many thought his methodology was sick and twisted, it was all they had. However, with Henry not producing any meaningful results to combat Dracula, the humans turned to prayers. Desperate for help, they called out to the heavens, and many were gifted with the power of light. Those who could use this power founded the Church of Luminance, whose first order of business was to exile Dr. Henry Blackbrew and his students to the north. His sick experiments were far past what the Church of Luminance could accept, and exile was the only way that we could deal with him. But with the help of a resource he calls Blood Type E, he managed to maintain his youth and stay alive for well over 800 years, all the way to the current day, continuing his sick research up in the north. That's what caused Gloomrot to become what it is, this gross cesspool of slime and mutant grease. However, humans, with the newfound power of light, they were able to push back Dracula and his forces, eventually allowing the paladin Solarus the Immaculate to fight and even defeat Dracula. His strong connection with the light has extended his life to seemingly immortality. Over the 800 years of his life, he has watched mankind become lazy, greedy, and overall disinterested in the world, causing him a deep sorrow as he yearns for the days of glory to return. After all, what is a warrior without a war? Before Dracula was killed, he had one final act. As he died, his power scarred the world, leaving a massive crystallized blood monument, which is believed to be his final resting place. The other result of his death was a blood rain that lasted 7 days and 7 nights, killing many and permanently twisting and changing others. Those that were changed would unknowingly aid Dracula in his long game, as he passed down his essence through their bloodlines and they began to learn to use the abilities that his essence had given them. They became notable figures in society due to these powers. Today, we vampires know them as V-Bloods, and we actually end up fighting most of them in the game to harness this power of V-Blood, to give it to ourselves. However, many believe that the powers that they had received were blessings from God, not some evil figure in the past, and they used this as a means to progress their own individual agendas, often getting a lot of them to the top rungs of the Church of Luminance. While Dracula's defeat was very real, so was his plan. He's always been a great strategist and plans on using the V-Bloods as a way to enact his revenge. Now, Dracula's domain resides in the east, in a decrepit and empty castle. This land was once a kingdom of towering black spires and monuments to the Night King, but is now a forsaken and forgotten wasteland, inhospitable to most life. However, lurking and plotting in the shadows as always are the vampires. As Dracula bides his time on his throne in the Shadow Realm, his loyal servants begin preparations for his return. While the Legion of Noctum rises, they appear more as a scattered cult than a feared army. Their main goal is no longer conquering the battlefield, shifting to a more reserved approach of trying to bring their king back into the land of the living. Dracula's 4 generals began opening rift portals to the Shadow Realm to summon soldiers of the night and gather V-Blood essence and blood crystals. Once enough has been gathered, his return will be all but assured. Now, where do we fit in? We are the vampires that once stood against the Legion of Noctum and Dracula. However, like all the others, we were defeated and went into a long slumber to hide and regain our power. As we rested for 800 years, Vardoran has changed, and today our rest is disturbed by a large wave of Dracula's power singing throughout the land. We now are awakened at a low level of our power, yet we can feel the V-Blood's power ripe for the taking, stronger than when they first received their gifts. We must conquer them and use this power to finally defeat Dracula once and for all, so that we may stand at the top of the nocturnal hierarchy. This is the price of waking us up: death. And this is where we start. Now that you know the history of V-Rising, the story as you progress the game is simply you killing literally everybody and rising to power. I hope you enjoyed the video, and happy hunting.